Hey, what's up? What's up? My name is Bill. I welcome you to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a Dallas Cowboys sign. Going to make it out of a 1x8 piece of pine. I'm gonna do the design work in Lightburn. I'm going to transfer that to Carveco Maker, create the toolpath in Carveco Maker, and then I'm going to go ahead and transfer that to Candle, and then use my Genmitsu Reno 4040 laser machine, CNC machine to cut it out. So this is my process of how I go about it. That's what you see on the screen here. This is what it's going to look like. It's not too hard at all. You pretty much get it done fairly quickly, but I'm going to go through the process on how I do it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this over. So I went on the internet, just downloaded that just so I have a little template just to kind of look at and copy. I have over here in my art library, I have a title that's helmets, football helmets. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to pull it up in here onto the workspace. Now there's a few things that I have to do on this one here. I downloaded this along. I've done many signs with this one here. With this helmet, have always been with the laser machine, but today on this one here, I'm going to do it on the CNC machine. And I've noticed that a couple of the things I need to kind of change up a little bit that's going to make it look a little bit better. First thing I'm going to do is get rid of the inner. I got to ungroup these. Then I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the inner, not the outer, the inner line here. And I'm going to go ahead and hit delete on my keyboard and delete that out of here. Next thing I want to do is I want a little bit more space in here, so I'm going to get rid of the outer line, hit delete on the keyboard. And on this one here, I'll get rid of the outer one. On this one, that really doesn't matter if it's inner or outer. It'd come out just a little bit bigger or a little smaller. I'll do that one there. Now, the other thing I got to do is go ahead and get rid of these. If you hold your shift key and you left click on your mouse and select that right there, you can come over here and you can select that one, and it's going to keep them together. Now, that's all one image, part of the image there, so it does all those. The other one I can click on is this one here that's not been selected yet. Now I can let go of shift, hit my delete key on my laptop. Now that gives me what I'm looking for right here. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the size of the material that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to click this box right here, and I'm just going to draw out a box. Hit the selector tool. Now up on the top here, I know it's 8 inches, but truly it's like 7.28 inches. So I'm going to put 7.28 inches for the width of it, and then the height is going to be 13 inches. Now what I always do is I go ahead and I click. Let me click all this right here. If you go from left to right and bring it down, it's going to select just what it fills up in the box. So you see just the helmet's filled up, even though it's touching the box on the outside, it is not going to click those. You let go of it, and it puts that little squares all the way around it, so you know that that's the only thing that is selected. Now I go up here and I hit the group button. So if I go to click it, I don't have to worry about trying to get everything up in there without something moving on it. Now, first thing you want to do is you want to click your helmet, hold shift down, and you want to click the outer box. Now, up here you got a bullseye, and that's going to bullseye that helmet inside what you have here. Now, if I was doing a laser and I wasn't going to plan on cutting the outside part of this, I would put that into a tool path up here, but I'm going to leave it just as what that is right now. So you have the helmet centered in this square, which is 7.28 inches by 13 inches. Now, the other thing you have to do is you have to go ahead and you have to get your star, which you have right here, and that's what you need it to look like. On the star, you have, zoom in a little bit, you have 1, 2, 3 layers to that star. So we need 3 stars to make what that is. Again, in my football helmets, I have a star here, so I'm going to go ahead and double click that. That's going to bring it up inside on here. Now I'm going to bring that over to here. Now you see how this star is straight across in a line, where this star is more on an angle, which is really easy to do. You just take this little arrow right here, and you just turn it to where you think it looks kind of similar to what you have over there. And now I can move it around to where I want it to be. And we'll drop it right about there. Now, I'm going to make it bigger. So, hit the control and that arrow. Hold the control key in and then hit that arrow. And you can make it as big as you want to make it. But by holding that arrow and the control at the same time there, it does equal on both sides. If I was to just do one, like just not hold the control and click it, see how it drags it down like that? That's not what I wanted. So let me undo that, hold the control, and then bring it to the size of what I'm sort of looking like. And I think maybe just a little bit bigger. Yeah, we'll go right there. That looks pretty okay. Now there's the outside one. So that's one layer of the three. Now the other way I go about it is I need to duplicate this right here. So you can either Control D and duplicate it and shrink it down, or you can do an offset right over here. And what the offset will do is you either go inward or outward. You go inward, it's going to make it smaller. You go outward, it's going to make it bigger. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit Control and D and duplicate that. Now I'm going to hold the Control key and I'm going to shrink that down. And you see how you got skinnier here, but it's farther away here? That's not a problem. We can just go ahead and hit the Control key and just the right arrow key and just go over till you look like you got equal spacing on both sides, and that looks pretty good right there. Now, you want to go ahead and hit Control, duplicate it again, hold Control key, bring it down to about there. Oops, let me backspace out of that. Bring it down one more time. Right about there. Now this one might be a little bit too big, so because it's making my center star so small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this middle one, hit Control. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. Not a whole lot bigger, just a little bit. And I'm going to do the same with the middle star. Just make it a little bit bigger. That looks pretty good right there. Now, once again, you're a little smaller here and a little wider here. Hit Control and then just go over. And that looks pretty good right there. So that's as basic and simple as what that could be. Now, I know that's bigger than what this star is over here, which is fine. It's going to come out and it'll look really nice once it is all done. Because the CNC machine is, once I start engraving that, it's going to have follow around along the whole line of that right there, and then it's going to come in and do this right here. If you have them too skinny, then you're only going to have a narrow spot right here between this one and this one and this one and this one, and they will break off. They don't hold up very well. So I usually, even though it's a little bit bigger than what it shows over there, that's fine. At least it'll look better when you have the wood. Because also, too, when I do it, I'm going to paint each one of these right here. I'm going to outline the whole thing black. And then in between the black, where you got your piece right here, that's going to be left out with the wood. I'm going to paint that. That's going to be the dark blue. And this one I'm going to paint the white. And then, of course, the middle one's going to be painted the dark blue. And then everything else on the helmet is all going to be painted a silver. So that's it for the helmet part of it. That's real basic, real easy, not much to it. Now, you have your Dallas and you have your Cowboys here. That's real basic and easy to do as well. I like mine kind of curved like that. Some folks like it straight across. It's whatever appeals to you. I like it with a curve to it. So I'm going to come over here and hit the A. In the middle here, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to type, make sure my caps is on, and hit Dallas. And then down below here, Cowboys. All right. Now, once again, you want to try to get this centered in there. Let's go back up here and hit the selector tool. select the dowels right here. Now you want that to be centered up in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the control, highlight the dowels, hit the control, hit the box. Now up here you have this button right here. What this is going to do, that's going to center them from left to right. And that centered it from left to right, so it's equally on both sides. Come down here, click the cowboys, hold control, then select the outer perimeter, and then do the same thing. Click that to center that up. Now you know it is outside the borderline, which is fine, because what we're about to do is we're about to put a curve on that text to try to make it fit up inside there. And I'm going to start with the Cowboys one first. So you got this little circle right here. What this does is if you click and hold it, left click and hold on the mouse, it's going to curve that text around. You want to have it to where it's got a little bit of space on both sides of it, which that looks really good right there. Now we're going to do the same thing with the Dallas up here. Hit that little circle and bring that down just a little bit. And that looks pretty good. Now you can always bring this down and make sure that you are the same length here as what you are here. So you're pretty close. That little bit, you're not even going to notice it. So I'm going to bring that back up, back where I had it, and I'm going to go ahead and it already is highlighted. Hold control, the outer box, and that button again to align it in that box. Now, you want to make sure you have equal distance on the top to this and then the bottom up. So the way I do it is I just go ahead and draw myself a box. And you can have it whatever size you want to have it. I'll put it right about there. Now, click your selector tool. Zoom in, make sure which you are already connected on it. But if it wasn't, you just highlight that, you get the bullseye, bring it down, it'll snap right on that line. You know you're straight across that line, that box and that box is joined together. So now, I'm going to go ahead and grab the Cowboys, get that bullseye, bring it straight down. Now, we know it moved a little bit, it was shifted on us, so what we're going to do is, Cowboys already selected, hold control, outer perimeter, and hit that again to align it left to right. Now, let's click on that and bring this up to the top here. Now, you just click that till you get your bullseye, bring it down, snap right up in the line there. Do the same thing with the Dallas. Click on it, get your bullseye, snap it up in there. Now, you're done with that. That's done. So you can go ahead and highlight it, right-click, and delete. Now, we want to make sure that is centered. It looks centered, but let's just double-check and make sure. Left-click, control, left-click, and then center left to right. It didn't move, so that is where you want to have it. That's it for the Dallas Cowboys part of the sign right there. Let's go ahead and highlight all that and slide that over here out of the way. Now, we have this part down below here. And it is 7.28 inches wide, and this is also 7.29. Let's make it 7.28. 7.28. Hit the selector tool, and we're going to do the height of 4 inches. And there's what you have. Now, what I'll do is you take your image and you move it either in the center by doing this, so you see it, get the bullseye, or you can highlight it, control, click the outer box, and then hit the bullseye to bullseye it in there. That's it. It's as easy as what you have there. Now, let's bring this down. Let's bring this over. All right, so that's what we're going to send off to Carveco Maker so I can set up all the tool paths and get everything set up for it so that I can use Candle to actually use my CNC machine to cut it out. So what you do is you highlight the one you want to do. Then you come up here to File, and you go to Export. Now, in the export, you got to know where you're saving that. So I have a file saved with CNC test SVG. You're supposed to be able to do SVG on it. I just have not found a way to be able to do SVG, to import SVG into a Carveco Maker. So I have to go this route. I'm going to put down here Dallas Test. And I'm going to put top, so I know that that's the top part. And it's going to be a DXF file. I'm going to go ahead and hit Save. Now, you got to do the same with the bottom part. Highlight it all. File. Export. And now I'm going to put Dallas Test. Bottom. So I know which one it is when I'm pulling it in. And then go ahead and click Save. Now you're done with Lightburn. That's what you have for Lightburn. Pull up as your screen. It's going to be all your recent models that you've had, all the things you've done. And you see I've done a couple of them. Now, if it ain't there, obviously it's not going to be. So you just click New Model. And you want to put your dimensions of your wood. Now, if you had, let's say, a piece of plywood that was 14 inches by 9 inches, then that's what you would put in here. You would have to put the 14 inches by 9 inches in that. But my wood is actually what it is. It's 1 by 7.28 inches, so I don't have to do that. And make sure it's in inches, and make sure my bottom is select. Click OK. And now it's going to put that up in there, and that's going to be the wood of what I'm looking for right there. Now I go to File, Open, and CNC, Test SVG, and I'm going to look for Dallas Test Top. I'm going to click on that. And make sure your settings are all still correct, and click OK. And they are still the same, so click OK. Now that puts that up in there. Now, I want to group this Dallas, and I want to group the Dallas, and I want to hit Control and group, Shift, not Control. Give both of those that, and then I want to go ahead and group those together so they don't move on accident. Then I'm going to go ahead and click the cowboy helmet, and I'm going to do the same thing, group it, because I don't want these little things here to all get jumbled around. So that's the step of where we're heading to it now. Now you need to create toolpaths to have this CNC know what bits you're using, what the speeds are, the plunge rate, everything, so that your CNC machine can cut it out. So that's what we're about to do right now. Go over here and you click your toolpath, and I want the Dallas and I want the Cowboys to be pocketed out. So I'm going to click this button right here, which is a clearance tool. Now your start depth is 0 because it's going to be at the top of the wood. Your finish depth is going to be how deep you want to go. And I'm thinking I'll go 0.0787. And I think that's what 2 millimeters is. That's how deep I want it to be. So we have our depth, and we need to add a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add, and I'm going to come down here at the 1.8 end mil is what I'm going to use. These settings should be, they're slowish, but I'm still learning this CNC. I used to do it years ago, but you know, I haven't done it in a while. I just get back into it, so I'm trying to get myself back into getting this down. So I'm going to go ahead and save, just leave those settings the way it is for now. I'm going to go ahead and hit select. Now I'm going to come down here, and I want ramping. What ramping is going to do It's going to make it so that your bit doesn't go just straight down and start cutting. It's going to bring it on an angle and allow it to ease that bit into the wood so it doesn't put as much stress on your bit. Now, we also need to, what the thickness of the wood is going to be. Once I'm done, I'm going to plane it and sand it. It's going to put it at about 1/2 inch. So I'm going to hit setup, and I'm going to put 0.5. And then click OK. So we're going to have to name this now so we know when we go into the candle program which one we're pulling up. So this is going to be, I'm just going to put name. Just put something like name. And I'm going to go ahead and hit calculate. Now, you can see right here where it's showing your red. It's showing how it's going to look when it's all finished up. Now, we have the helmet to do. I'm going to go ahead and click the helmet, and I need to create a new toolpath, and I want this to be a profile tool. So I'm going to go ahead and click the T on that, and I want this to go on top of the line. I don't want it to be on the outside of the line. Let me zoom in here. I don't want it to be on the inside of the line. I want it to carve it right down that line. So I'm going to put along. Finish depth. This is showing that it's going to be cutting it out, which I don't want it to cut all the way out. I want to go down to the same thing. So I'm going to go down to 0.0787. Now, let me go back here a second. You want to get your bit. Now, this bit's going to be different than the last bit because I don't want it to be real thick. I want it to be as small as one that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use a 0.8 millimeter end mill. And I'm going to keep those settings the same what they are there. Now, I want to ramp this again too. So I'm going to add ramping moves, and I'm going to do just a smooth, and those settings will all be fine. And it already saved what the inches of the wood is, and I'm going to put this down as helmet. And I'm going to go ahead and calculate that. That's what that's going to do is that's going to lock that in there. Now, if you click on the toolpath, you can come right over here and all right, so the one thing I always like to do is I'm going to go ahead and click the name. And I'm going to come down here. This is the simulation control bar. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And it's going to start showing you what it's doing, how it's cutting it out. I'm not going to waste the whole time, so I'm going to fast forward just a little quicker, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it's going to do. It's just going to go through all the stuff that it's doing. I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and then you can do the same thing for the helmet. Click on that, play, and it's going to start showing you how it's going to do the helmet. Now, you remember before where I had the double circles, I had to get rid of one. It would have had that same thing, but a little bit thicker, so you would have had a little piece of wood in the middle. It just didn't come out good. So that's why I deleted all those inside parts and things that I had. And I'm going to go ahead and hit, and this part up here, if I would have made it any skinnier, you see the little parts of wood there. You don't have a whole lot there. So that stuff does become very brittle. So that's why I wanted to make them as thick as what I possibly could and make the star a little bigger like I was telling you. All right, so let's go ahead and hit close to close out of that. Now, what you do is you take your name and your helmet here. This right here is your save button. You want to go ahead and hit save. And I'm just going to put it just there because I already have this done. This is just a show you how video. So I'm going to go ahead and click star 1 and click save. It's telling me that it already exists. I want to override. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. Toolpath is saved. Now I can click that, hit the left one there, bring the helmet over, and then let's do the helmet. Same thing on the helmet. But I don't want it to be star 1 because star 1 is what this file is. If I do it, it's going to replace this one with this one. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of the 1. Backspace, get rid of that, hit save, and yes, override it, and then hit OK. Now, your progress is saved. Everything, your toolpaths are all set up, so Now Candle knows what you want it to do to be able to cut all these out. So remember I said I use Lightburn. I just use Lightburn because I've been using Lightburn for a couple of years now, and it's just a real easy program to use. It's a real powerful tool. Not that Carveco Maker isn't, I just don't know it yet. I'm just learning it. Before I used to use Easel from Inventables, that's what I used, but I switched up and went to Carveco Maker recently. It's a little bit cheaper and it's a lot more powerful. So I want to learn that software. But in the designing part, to put this out, I just want to show you you can use Lightburn, create it, and transfer the files over, save them, export them over, save them, and then you can go through the whole process of it. And this is how I do it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. Now, once you have that Carveco Maker done, now you got Candle, which is right here. You click on Candle, it's going to bring it up. This is the Candle program. This is just the one I use. It's fairly basic. You can't do a whole lot with it, but it does what I need it to do. Tells the CNC machine on what to do and how to do it. So I use it, and it works fairly well for what I do. And all you do is I'm gonna get in a little more with this a little bit later, but I'm just going to show you how you bring these images into this. Now, you hit File, Open. Remember the names that I put it in so we would know what they were. Star 1 was the Dallas Cowboy write-in, and Star was the helmet. So all you do is you click the first one here. It's going to bring it up. Now, you remember in the beginning of it when I put the size of the wood in Carveco Maker, and I made sure that dot was checked on the bottom left? That's where this is. If I would put it in the middle, that middle one, it would put it there, and it just puts wherever you click at, that's where that's going to go to. So I always do mine bottom left. Unless it's a circle image, then I'll do it from the middle, but anything else I always do bottom left. And like I said, I'm going to get into this here in a little bit, and I'm going to show you how I put the wood on the machine and how I cut it out. But I have to do that with another camera, so that's going to be in a few minutes. So once the machine does this thing, you go back in here, you hit File, New, File, Open, and you probably don't have to hit New. I just always hit New. And now the next one's going to be the Star. That's going to be the helmet. And you can see it's going to bring the helmet right up in there. And it's not going to, because remember we got rid of that border that went around it, because I don't need to cut out because my wood is 7.28. So it is exactly what it is. Now, if it was something bigger and I had to cut that out of this, then I would definitely have left that border in there, but I didn't need it. All I needed was the helmet and the names and the team name. So that's it. All right, I'm back. I couldn't do it last night, so I had to do it today. I had to wait till the next day to do it. But what I did is I went ahead and I loaded the name, the Dallas Cowboys, up onto the Candle program, ready to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the project. That's it. It is complete now. So I had to put another bit in there, but that's okay. We finally got it. And I'm going to go ahead and get it up out of the way and show you how it looks. All right. Fuzzy. It's got a lot of fuzzes on it, but that'll all sand off. That'll all sand off real nice. But that's it so far. And we just got the bottom part to do. I'm thinking if I want to use that on the laser, and I believe I'm going to use it on the laser rather than on the... It's got such small detail in it that I just think it would look a little better on the laser machine. Once I get that put together, I'll drop another video out here with it, and we'll probably just keep it all in one video and just edit it so it's not so crazy long. And I'll show you the part with You saw the part with the CNC, and then in a little bit, I'll show you the part with the laser for that bottom part that I was showing you before. Um, but when I get the laser set up and I get the stuff all together for it, we'll start it back up. All right. All right, so that finishes up the laser part of it. My battery went dead, so I couldn't get all of the laser burn, but it's the same thing over and over, so you get an idea what it does do. And I'm going to show you real quick what it looks like before I paint it, and I'll go over a couple of things I'm going to use to try to finish up this project. I'll start by showing you how it's finished first, or set up. I went ahead and I used this clear. It's Rust-Oleum Painter's Touch. It's a clear gloss. So I always use a little bit of that just to make sure that it does keep the wood from, when I do spray this, that it don't bleed up into the wood. It makes it look a whole lot nicer. So I usually use that first. I spray it, let it sit for a while just so I can make sure that it does cure up and dry. And then I'm going to take the black spray and I'm going to spray the helmet, and then I'll sand that down. Once I spray it, it gets up inside all where it was all engraved out at, and then once I sand it down, you'll just have an outline of the black, and that makes it kind of pop a little bit, makes it stand out. And for the rest of the helmet part, for the face mask, the helmet, I'm going to use this right here. This is it's a silver, but it's like a sparkly silver. So it looks real nice once it does get up on there. I can spray that up on there and then sand down around the rest of it. So that'll come out real nice as well too. And then for the words, the Dallas and the Cowboy, I'm going to have to mix a little bit of the Persian blue that I have here and this craft black. I'm just going to mix them up, try to get it to be a little darker color, try to get it a nice darker blue. And we'll see if that should mix fine. It should be fine. But once I do that, then I'll paint inside the Dallas and the Cowboys. That once it's all done and I sand it all back down and get everything, to where it needs to be, then I'll go ahead and I'll use a stain and I'll put a stain up on it. I'm not sure if I want a lighter stain or a darker stain. Probably a lighter stain, because it'll definitely make this look a little bit better as well too. Because pine is real hard. You can see where you got your grain and where you don't have the grain. Where you have the grain, it doesn't really burn it very well around where the grain is, but where the grain isn't, it does real deep and real nice. So I'll put a stain on it, put some hooks on it with a rope, and when I get it done, I'll just attach some pictures to it, and you'll be able to see the finished product of it. And that's my process of how I go about it. Doesn't really take very long, and then of course the painting that does take some time, but otherwise, yeah, it's not too awfully bad. But you can put these together fairly quickly, and they do come out real nice. I had a couple of them I did drop on my previous video of some projects I did, and one of them in there was one of these signs that I did make for a customer. And when I get it done, I'll send some pictures on there, and I'll just attach some pictures to it, and you'll be able to see the finished product of it. And that's my process of how I go about it. It takes longer right now because you're filming it and videoing it. But if you wasn't, literally the helmet part with the Steeler with the Dallas Cowboy, the helmet part with the Dallas Cowboy really only took about maybe 15-20 minutes to do all that. And then the Dallas Cowboy bottom part of the plaque took maybe 25 minutes to do. So it doesn't really take very long. And then of course the painting that does take some time, but otherwise, yeah, it's not too awfully bad. But you can put these together fairly quickly, and they do come out real nice. I had a couple of them I did drop on my previous video of some projects I did, and one of them in there was
was one of these signs that I did make for a customer. So when it gets all done, I'll put a video. I'll just drop some pictures on it. When it gets all done, I'll drop a picture of it and let you see the finishing product of it. So I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, I would really, really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. If you like my video, and if you subscribe, and I'm gonna try to make a whole bunch more of these kind of projects. There's a whole bunch of things I'm gonna try to do, but if you don't get subscribers, then um, it's not really worth the time of doing it, is it? So I would really, really hope that you would give me a little thumbs up, like, and subscribe to the channel, and give me some things, ideas of stuff maybe you want to see done, and I can do them. All right. I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it.